Namaste and good morning to everyone, and a very warm welcome to all the viewers on 37th day of Webathon series on behalf of National Naturopathy Pune and Regional Outreach Bureau, Maharashtra and Goa. We had been enlightening ourselves with a lot of knowledge delivered by various inspiring speakers who admired Gandhian principles and ideals. And we have more eminent speakers scheduled till November 18th, Naturopathy Day 2020, with the theme of Mahatma Gandhi, the healer, and his views on self-health reliance and other determinants of public health too. So let us make this webathon fruitful and conducted by National Naturopathy Pune and Regional Outreach Bureau Maharashtra and Goa. So stay tuned with us. I would like to remind to all the viewers to post your questions in the comment sections on Facebook and YouTube. All the questions will be answered at the end of the session. Let's start the session by reciting a Gandhi bhajan sung by Mr. Makaran Masram, staff of Regional Outreach Bureau, Maharashtra and Goa.
जैसे बात गिरे तन्वर के, जैसे बात गिरे तन्वर के, मिलेगा बहुत दुहेरा, मिलेगा बहुत दुहेरा, ना जानूं किधर गिरेगा, ना जानूं किधर गिरेगा, लगा पवन का फेरा, लगा पवन का फेरा, उड़ जाएगा, उड़ जाएगा हंस अकेला, उड़ जाएगा हंस अकेला, जग दर्शन का मेला, जग दर्शन का मेला, उड़ जाएगा हंस अकेला। गुरु की करनी गुरु जानेगा, गुरु की करनी गुरु जानेगा, शेर की करनी शेरा, शेर की करनी शेरा, उड़ जाएगा, उड़ जाएगा, उड़ जाएगा हंस अकेला, हंस अकेला, हंस अकेला, हंस अकेला, हंस अकेला, हंस अकेला,
What a melodious song it was. The tune was absolutely perfect, and the high pitched tone was absolutely marvelous. Thank you, Mr. Makarand Masram, for a wonderful bhajan recited, and I thank ROB for establishing this. Now, let us move on to the next session of a Gandhi Katha. Uh, we actually speak stories here. Stories actually motivates us, inspires us, and cultivates us with the positive emotions in body, mind, and soul. So let's hear a Gandhi Katha by Dr. Professor K. Satyalakshmi, a director of NIN, Pune.
Namaste, friends. Welcome to Gandhi Katha. Today we will see Mahatma Gandhi's interaction with children. So, Mahatma Gandhi was on travel and he visited one ashram school. It was raining, and so the children got late for school in the morning. Gandhiji had to proceed elsewhere, so he could spend only a few minutes with the children. Gandhi started talking to them. All of you spin and wear khadi? They said yes. But let me know how many of you always speak truth only and never tell a lie. Few children raised their hands. Gandhiji then asked the second question. Well, now how many of you often speak lies? Two children soon raised their hands. Then three, then four, and later lots of hands and hands were seen. Almost all hands were up. Gandhiji told them, there is always a hope for them who know and accept that they frequently lie. But if it is very difficult for them who believe they never lie, I wish success to both. So that is how Gandhiji used to mix with children and try to make them understand the importance of telling the truth and not telling the lie and also accepting both the situations. Thank you, friends, for your time.
Thank you, madam. That was a wonderful katha. It is always good to accept us and what we are as human beings on this earth. So this story reminds me of this quote, and I acknowledge and I thank Dr. Vaishnavi for preparing this video and adding the photos to those video. Thank you very much, Dr. Vaishnavi. And moving on to the next session is nurturing vitality through naturopathy by Dr. Kajal Gupta. I welcome Dr. Kajal Gupta to
Thank you
Dr.
so much. Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. So, today we are talking about the theme of October month 2021 for the celebration of Third Naturopathy Day. So, we are going to discuss about three very major but yet underemphasized factors, that's compassion, charity, and community work. As you rightly said, that if you are and you're happy, is when you can feel others' pain and you want to relieve that pain for them, like by yourself. So it is a core of saying that treat others as you want to be treated yourself. So it is a very natural and automatic response that has ensured our survival, and it is beneficial for both physical as well as for mental health. The sense of satisfaction in sharing someone's pain and the presence of someone's in our own crucial time is always have positive effect on our different aspects of health. So next, if we move on to charity, once Gandhiji has rightly said again that the best way to find yourself to lose yourself in the survival in the service of others. So the gift of giving is always a wonderful feeling, whether we are offering our emotional support to someone, whether we are volunteering our time to assist some organization, whether we are donating money. These are the different ways to enjoy the health benefits of giving. Charity does not only make us feel good, it also improves the self-esteem and self-worth. So next we will be talking about the community work. Community work is a social work done by a group of people or by a person where other people are getting benefited. So till now, whatever we have talked was completely on the individual level. So once we are getting a health by practicing different factors like to increase our vitality, it is our responsibility as a citizen of the nation that we have to take that message to a more people or to the community. Because once the community is developed, then only there will be a self-reliance like by the health or for the health, which is what the major theme of the this year Gandhi Jayanti. So, by promoting, by practicing community work, doing charity, and by having a compassion, it increases the health status of our own and as well as for others. So, with this, I'll end my today's discussion about compassion, charity work, and community work. So, we have come to an end about all the modes and interventions about vitality. From tomorrow onwards, we will be talking about different pioneers of naturopathy. So, to know about them, please stay tuned with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kajal, for letting us know the importance and benefits of a charity and community work. It was a wonderful talk given by you. Again, I consider wholeheartedly, I thank you for those words. And as today's speaker is an eminent speaker which we have with us today, Dr. Jatinder K. Bajaj, who is a director of Center of Policy Studies. He is currently a member of Commission of Examine Subcategorization of Backward Classes set up under Article 340 of the Constitution. He is also a member of a National Organizing Committee to celebrate 150th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. That is very good to know. And Dr. K. Bajaj has a PhD in theoretical physics and has been a member of apex governing and advisory bodies of several national institutions, including Indian Councils of Social Science Research, the National Council of Rural Institutes, and Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. Dr. K. Bajaj and his colleagues are in the process of publishing a multi-volume work on formative phase of Gandhiji from the beginning to 1914. In 2011, he, along with his colleague, Professor Srinivas, published an authentic edition of Gandhiji, Hind Swaraj in Gujarati, Hindi, and English. The edition of Hind Swaraj was released by current Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, who was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. Dr. Bajaj has, along with his colleagues, he has authored several seminal books. Two of his best known are Annam Bahu Kurvita, the Indian disciple of growing and sharing food in plenty, and religious demography of India. So we have an eminent speaker with us to let us know Gandhiji's attitude towards health, medicine, and the disease when he was in South Africa and his experience. So we'll be discussing, the sir will be taking us to a journey about Gandhiji's attitudes towards health and disease. Let us hear from him. Hello, sir. I welcome you for this online webinar series. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen Mathur. Good morning, viewers. Let me begin by thanking the National Institute for Natural Therapy, who are celebrating, I think, the 75th year of their foundation day, 75th foundation day of theirs. It was established in 45, if I remember correctly. And am I right, Dr. Madhi?
37th Avidwan series. And
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am not very familiar with natural therapy. I know somewhat about Ayurveda. I have read perhaps almost all of the foundational books of Ayurveda, including the Brihatraya. But I agreed to talk on this issue because for the last few years, I and my colleagues have been working on the writings and experiences of Mahatma Gandhi from the time he reached England up to the time he started back for India from Durban in 1914. And while going through this work, as Dr. Mathik told you, we have actually compiled a book on this part of Mahatma Gandhi's life and experiences, which is likely to be published by on the 1st January of next year. While going through this experiences of Mahatma Gandhi, the writings of Mahatma Gandhi, we of course came across his deep interest on the issues of food, health, medicine, and so on. And actually, he began talking about food, I think within the first year of when he went to England. And as he says, he was more or less forced to think about food there because he had given a vow to his mother that he will eat only vegetarian food when he is away. And if he was to be a vegetarian, he had to be careful about food. He had to cook his own food, and he also had to think about what he's eating and what he's not eating. And I think that always be careful about food, always be aware of what you are eating, what you are not eating, I believe is a essential part of natural therapy. He, in fact, joined what was called the Vegetarian Societies of London in the first year of his, he will be just 21 or 22 at that time, first year of his reaching London. And he wrote several articles in their journal where he talks in very great detail about what is food and especially describes the food of an ordinary Indian, how healthy it is, how frugal it is, how easily it is cooked. In great detail is describing in those articles. This interest in food remains with him throughout his life. But when he goes to South Africa, this interest widens. I feel that he becomes conscious about these issues when he comes across the book of Louis Cooney on what is the book is called. It is called the German Naturopath, and the book is The New Science of Healing or the Doctrine of the Oneness of All Diseases. This it was published early, but it was republished in 1894. Mahatma Gandhi comes across it when he is in Natal, in the Natal Mercury, and he reads the book and writes to Natal Mercury about how impressed he is about this book. Partly is impressed because the book tries to establish the importance of vegetarianism on purely physiological grounds. But he's also interested
just to pause you here, I have a question if you can answer.
Yes, please.
So as a Gandhiji practiced vegetarianism and he learned a skill of cooking.
Yes,
So
yes.
he found out that it was very important to live with that skill.
Yes.
And cooking is a life sustaining skill, if I'm not wrong.
That's right. That's right. In fact, in Ayurvedic text, nobody can be a good Vaidya unless he is a good cook. He or she is a good cook. It's very clear.
So, yes, sir. Fine. Thank you. Thank you. You can continue, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So he talks about this Kone's book, but he gets fascinated with it. Kone is talking about food, of course, but he's about vegetarianism. But he also is talking about the usual naturopathic practices of hydropathy, hip baths, earth poultices, and things of that kind.
Okay.
I hope you have this book in your collection.
Yes, sir. We do have. Yeah.
You do have, yeah.
Yeah.
And the good cook that he was, he starts baking what was called cooked bread. And several times he sends loaves of bread, Kone's bread cooked by him, to his colleagues, his friends, his associates.
Okay.
But
okay.
he begins practicing the various naturopathic practices around that time, or perhaps even earlier. This is 1896.
Okay.
And this he continues all his life. This
Okay.
concern with food and concern with experimenting with naturopathic
Okay.
treatments
Okay. Okay. So,
continues all his
so
life.
one important factor what he learned was food and cooking. So there was no dependency to anyone, and he practiced self-cooking things and with the vegetarian cookings only. He was
That's
limited to
right.
vegetarian cookings.
In
Yes.
fact, his interest in naturopathy is also because he doesn't want to depend upon the hakims, vadyas, and doctors
Oh,
to,
okay, okay.
to the
That means
extent
you also say it as self-reliance. Self-reliance.
party is that.
Okay, 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 sir.
He's a man who wants to be self-reliant. Not only the society needs to be self-reliant, the person
Okay,
must be self-reliant in himself or herself. That's the
okay,
kind of he is. That's the
okay,
kind.
okay, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, so this he starts practicing this, even going to the extent of being very adventurous in this kind of therapies. He is a lawyer, as you know, so he starts offering this therapy to his clients also, and
Oh,
he two instances where he really uses this therapist in an adventurous fashion. I'd like to narrate to you. The first was in 1902. That is the time when he had come for a brief while, maybe for 6, 7, 8 months, to India from South Africa. He was thinking he can settle down in India. At that time, he was unable to do so. And that time, towards the end of 1902, his son Manilal, he fell sick.
oh,
Diagnosis was typhoid with pneumonia. He had delirium at night. He had just gone through, earlier he had gone through a fairly severe case of smallpox. So the issue was the sickness was serious. And Mahatma Gandhi called a Parsi doctor to treat him. And as you all know, that was the time where there was not really much medicine for this kind of diseases. Antibiotics were yet to be discovered. It will be 40, 50 years after that, the
right,
antibiotics
right, right.
available in modern medicine. So for typhoid and this kind of diseases, fevers, what they tried to prescribe was nutritional food. So the Parsi doctor suggested eggs and chicken broth. And Mahatma Gandhi told him that, look, my religion doesn't allow me to use these things, even in case of sickness, either for myself or for mine. He says, my son's daughters or my wife. So then he told the doctor that what I will do, try to treat him by hydrotherapy or hydropathy. But you please visit occasionally to examine the pulse and examine the chest so that I know what is the state of the child. And he starts treating him by Guna's hip baths and by fasting. This was a serious case, and he was really worried himself that what will happen. And for several days, the sickness goes on. And then finally, one day, the child has very high fever.
Oh,
Manila. And
Manila.
at that point, Mahatma Gandhi wraps him in a wet sheet and then swaddles him in a layers of blankets. And somehow that breaks the fever. And he thanks God and thanks, but he's very worried that he was so adventurous. Takes another 40 days for Manila to fully recover, during which he is feeding him orange juice and diluted milk throughout. But this was the level of adventure he could do in naturopathy already in 18, this is 1902.
Okay.
The second incident which I'll narrate for you is again with his third son, Ramlal Gandhi. This was 1905. That was when Mahatma Gandhi had set up the Phoenix ashram and had decided to call his family to stay with him in Phoenix ashram.
Okay.
On the way, Ramlal Gandhi, Ramdas Gandhi, breaks his arm while playing with the ship's captain. And the ship's doctor, treats him, puts some bandages, but insists that as soon as he lands, he should be shown to a proper professional.
Okay.
And when he reaches Durban, Mahatma Gandhi decides that he will not want to take him to a professional. He'd like to treat him through naturotherapy. So it's a long conversation he has with Ramdas, who was 8 years, and trying to take his permission for treating him through this method. He is himself saying, this is a young child, how will he give his consent for this? How will it be a proper consent? But anyway, he decides to treat him through this. And so every day applies a clean earth poultice to his wound. This also goes on for several weeks. And at the end is relieved that the wound was clean and the arm was healed. But these are instances where he is actually doing a very adventurous treatment with this, of course, his own sons. So this is a measure of the kind of interest he had developed, and also perhaps expertise in naturopathy by that time.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So this interest he keeps on becoming more and more intense with him.
Okay.
In 1913, in fact, before you started today's talk, you gave a slide about today's history in Mahatma Gandhi's life. And the 6th when he was arrested while leading one of the great marches. This was one of the more last and most difficult satyagraha that Mahatma Gandhi led in England, in South Africa, the 1913 satyagraha. It also involved the largest number of satyagrahas people. In thousands it involved.
Okay.
And when he was doing, this is number 6 that you were showing, from January 1913 to August 1913, in this period when he was leading such a difficult, tough satyagraha, he wrote 34 articles in the Indian Opinion in Gujarati at the time on what he called general knowledge about health. And those 34 articles are actually should be seen as the primer of naturopathy today, because those were compiled and they were published in Hindi and also in English by company of Chennai.
Okay.
And he later says that became, it was published as Guide to Health. He's saying general knowledge about health. That is the title of articles. The book was published by the title of Guide to Health. And Mahatma Gandhi later is saying that this became his most read book, most widely sold and most widely read book, this book. And in this book, he, in the 4th article, he essentially is laying down what is the foundational philosophy of naturopathy. He says that the universe, and this is not something new that he's saying, the universe is composed of the Panchabhutas, the 5 tattvas.
Okay.
Which is air, water, earth, fire, and akasha.
Okay.
And then the Jata Brahmande Tatha Pinde, or the vice versa. He says these are the 5 elements which also constitute the body.
Okay.
Key to health is that to keep these 5 in perfect, these 5 elements in perfect order. So, as he is putting, pure air, fresh air, clean water, pure
Okay.
air, open space, and bright sun. You have all this, and you will not be sick. And of course, he goes on in this to use these 5 elements as part of therapy. So there are chapters which are describing therapy based on water, there are chapters which are describing therapy based on earth, and so on. So I was surprised that he's actually, this should be our foundational book. Even naturopathy may have moved much farther since then. But this should be one of the foundational books that we should be reading and using in our naturopath, amongst our naturopaths and naturopathy schools. I wonder if you have that book in your because in your the Right to Health in your collection.
Yeah.
It is not there in that Gandhi portal that
We have a PDF collection, but yet we'll get the hard copy and keep it in our Indian library. So for sure, thank you.
Yes, of course, PDFs are all there in the collected works. The Hindi book that he actually published, the English book that was published by Ganesh, if you the Ganeshan company, if you have those books, that will be even more interesting. Later in 19, so this he never leaves. So later in 1942,
Okay.
when he is in the Aga Khan Palace, during the Quit India movement, he is imprisoned in the Aga Khan Palace. So that time he rewrites this what he had written in this Guide to Health from his memory. Rewrites it for they asked about it. He rewrites it, and that is published with, I think, forward of Professor Sushila Nair as the key. But the key to health is because he is doing it from memory. It's not as rigorous and as complete as his Guide to Health, which he wrote while there. He is writing in jail from memory without having much access to anything else in 1942. What he wrote in 1913 is more extensive, and perhaps that should be always looked at. So this, I was trying to give you how much interest he had this issue of food and health and naturopathy as part of maintaining health. But this comes from his understanding that the body and the universe are one, and if you keep Panchabhutas in good order, to keep your good health also. And when there is disease, perhaps these Panchabhutas is where one should go to look for treatment and medicine.
I have one question, sir. That you mentioned, he firmly believed in naturopathy principle, mainly Panchamahabhuta, and he viewed diseases in that way.
Yes.
Okay.
The imbalance of these bhutas which will cause disease or if the Panchbhutas are not in good order or not living in good environment. But no, at the end, though he had all this interest, to tell you that Mahatma Gandhi was a very practical person in most things. He tried to be, though he looks very obstinate, but he tried to be always reasonable, practical. So when he was keen that one should not rush to a Hakim or a Vaidya or a doctor, when sick, to the extent one should try to settle the issue on one's own. But from his reading him, I don't think he is ever uh, exclusive about it. He gets a doctor, surgeon do surgery upon his wife Kasturba for hemorrhage when he was in Africa. This, I think, 1909. And in India also, he often subjects himself to the Western treatment when modern English treatment when it's absolutely essential. But the insistence is that don't become dependent on for everything. Don't become dependent on
Yes.
teams or doctors. In Hinsavraj, of course, he's against
Wonderful, sir.
against modern medicine. But even modern medicine said he is not that he never made use of or he excluded. The other is that though he was so adventurous, I told you that he used this on when his child had typhoid, pneumonia, and just gone through the box. I was having delirium.
Okay.
He relied on naturopathy. So that's the kind of adventurous he could be. But still, he was extremely cautious. He did all this with a sense of humility and fear, if that's the appropriate. In Hindi, that bhaya of the gods is always is a good term. So he always had this sense of humility and fear when doing. I think that's what should be and is taught to doctors also, that you do all this, whatever you do with a sense of humility. You only treat, he heals. That is what is taught to doctors. And that, of course, he knew himself clearly. So that's when he narrates these incidents of the way he treated his sons in those difficult situations. He also says, and this is in the autobiography, that this and other experiments enhanced my faith in such household remedies, and I now proceeded with them with both self-confidence. But not nowadays, I have not the confidence I had in South Africa. You grow, you become less confident with age. Shown that these experiments involve obvious risks. The reference here, therefore, to these experiments is not meant to demonstrate their success. I cannot claim complete success for any experiment. Even medical men cannot make no such claim for their experiments. My object is only to show that he who would go in for novel experiments must begin with himself. But this sense of being careful, being cautious, being worried, anxious, and being humble, I think that has to become part of medical science, whether of modern medicine or of naturopathy or of Ayurveda or of Unani. Everywhere, this sense of non-exclusiveness and being cautious, being humble is absolutely essential, because you are dealing with God's creation. Dealing with the body, you're dealing with God's creation. It's not your creation that you're dealing with. That sense should be there. And I think in the Ayurvedic texts, I do see that sense of being cautious and humble. Not so much in the therapeutic texts of modern medicine. I generally don't find that kind of humility. In Mahatma Gandhi, of course, it is there.
Okay.
I think I have said much of what I wanted to say, except that I will like to say one more thing.
Yes, sir. Please go.
I think we have another 3-4 minutes which I can use.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Mahatma Gandhi, as I said, was very, very interested in food. He is and was extremely frugal, austere in his habits, that we all know. And in the matter of food for himself, he could go to quite some extreme. That when he came to India, he went to Hardwar, and this is the general way with the Indians, that when they go to a place like Hardwar or a Tirtha Sthana, they take some vow, they give up something that the believing Hindus normally do this. So he decided there, when he went to the Ganga, he took the vow that in future he will never take in his food, he'll never take more than 5 individual items of food in his diet. And items did not mean dishes. Items meant five five things, so that he excluded water from it out of these five, but included salt. So if he put salt and chilies in his food, that exhausted 2 of the 5. And then he put, if he put oil in it, that'll exhaust the third. And he was able to maintain this vrata. It's very difficult. Try doing it in a day.
Okay, sure, sir, sure.
Did you said something?
No. I am just responding to your talks. Yeah.
Try doing it even for a day in your life. You will find it very difficult to meet this target, that in a day you will not be consuming more than 5 things in your food. Because if you put cumin, if you put what we call garam masala, you have taken 5 in one go.
Okay.
That kind of discipline, once he took that, he maintained that all his life. So he was that careful about his food. But though he was a man of great austerity and frugality, in the matter of food, he did not want poverty. He did not want malnutrition. And in fact, in this book that I've referred to, the Key to Health, and these numbers he gives at many places, he makes a list of what a ordinary sedentary man or woman, adult man or woman, minimally needs to eat in a day. And the list begins with 2 pounds of cow's milk, 2 pounds of cow's milk per day.
Okay.
Then 6 ounces of cereals, and 6 ounces will be about 180 grams.
Okay.
And 5, 3, 9 ounces of leafy and other vegetables, and 9 ounces amounts to about 300 grams.
Okay.
1.5 ounce of ghee, which is nearly 50 grams of ghee every day.
Okay.
Or if it is butter, then more than that, 2 ounces. And good or white sugar will again about 50 grams. Now, this food, this is abundant food.
Okay.
2 pounds of ghee, 50 grams of ghee, 180 grams of cereals. This is not frugal food. This is high, nutritious, and rich food. And some similar list is put in the kitchen of Sevagram. There's a board in the Sevagram kitchen where he said you should not take more than that. And similar list he made for his schools in Natal, that every child must get at least this much. And everywhere this 2 pounds of milk and 50 grams of ghee. I tell you that this amount of food is not available either by choice or by conditions for 90% of the people of India today. He wanted India rich in nutritionally, and nutritionally rich India will also be healthy. And he wanted people, when not healthy, to rely on themselves to the extent possible, rely on the immediately available panchabhutas to treat themselves, look for fresh air, clean water, clean earth, good diet, and sun and open spaces, and much of the health will be taken care of. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Yes. So Gandhiji, when he was in the tour of South Africa and England, as you mentioned, so he had learned all these things by seeing a book or by reading a book of Louis Kune, The New Science of Healing, and practiced himself. And he was self-sufficient in cooking and depended more on natural laws to diagnose any disease and take food as a medicine. Is it what I can just conclude with
Largely,
your?
you are correct, except that I will not say that he learned all this from Pune. He was already writing all this, much of this, in his vegetarian articles of 6, 7 years before that. Uh,
Okay.
from Pune, he got confidence too. In fact, Mahatma Gandhi hardly learns anything from anybody. He knows much of it. He
Okay.
goes to others only to reconfirm
Uh-huh.
what he has learned from his tradition. I think he would have learned, if he has learned anything from others, it will be from his mother. That much of it is he would have picked up from his life in Kathiawar. Much of this he would have picked up. This is how Indian used to live at that time, and he
Okay.
had this is the kind of food they used to eat. This is the kind of talk they used to make.
Okay.
Later we forgot. From Pune, he only learned that this is also practiced by Western men even today. And so the rest you are saying is all correct. That he wanted to be men and women, to be self-sufficient in as many ways as possible, including in matters of health. And he wanted, to the extent possible, people should become healthy by cleaning up their environment, their Panchamahabhutas. And
Okay.
when one is healthy, look at that Panchamahabhutas for treatment, and
Okay.
not run to every small thing, and even perhaps every bigger sickness, to the Hakims, Vaidyas, or to the doctors. Go there when it's absolutely beyond your control. And much of the life should not be beyond your control.
Okay. So food as a medicine and health, looking for Panchamabhutas imbalance and get to know if you are sick and try to have a natural remedy so that you'll not be dependent on anyone and you'll be more self-reliant. Yes, sir?
Yeah, and of course, I think we should honor it. Perhaps we do him and
Great.
do that.
Yes.
As a pioneer of naturopathy in India, and perhaps naturopathy in the world to a large extent.
Oh,
Uh,
oh, oh, oh.
his books that I mentioned should be mandatory texts for any perhaps they already are, for any person practicing or teaching or learning naturopathy.
Okay, sir. Please stay tuned with us, sir. We have one more session coming by Dr. Kajal on Hindi vitality, nurturing vitality through naturopathy in a Hindi version. So once we finish this session, we can have a question and answer session, sir. Please stay tuned
Okay.
with us. Yes. Thank you. Yes, I welcome Dr. Kajal for giving us a lecture on vitality through naturopathy on Hindi version. Over to you, Kajal.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. नमस्कार। तो आज हम अक्टूबर मास के 2021 के विषय, जो कि 3 बहुत ही विशेष परंतु फिर भी कम आंकना वाले कारक हैं, उनके बारे में बात करेंगे कि कैसे उसका हमारे जीवन पर, स्वास्थ्य पर और आर्थिक पहलू पर प्रभाव पड़ता है। ये जो 3 कारक हैं, ये हैं सहानुभूति, भिक्षा और सामुदायिक सेवा, जो हमने मतलब कंपैशन, चैरिटी एंड कम्युनिटी वर्क। तो जैसे कि दलाई लामा ने बहुत ही सही शब्दों में कहा है कि अगर आप खुद खुश रहना चाहते हैं और बाकियों को खुश रखना चाहते हैं, तो आपके जीवन में सहानुभूति कारक का अभ्यास करना बहुत ही आवश्यक है। सहानुभूति एक ऐसी भावना है जो आप में तब उत्पन्न होती है जब आप किसी के दर्द को महसूस करते हैं और आप उस दर्द के लिए उनकी सहायता करना चाहते हैं। यह एक उदाहरण का बहुत ही मूल सिद्धांत है कि आप लोगों के साथ हमेशा वैसा ही बर्ताव कीजिए जैसे आप उनसे खुद के लिए करवाना चाहते हैं। तो सहानुभूति एक स्वाभाविक और स्वचालित प्रतिक्रिया है जो कि हमारे अस्तित्व को निश्चित करता है। किसी का मुसीबत में साथ देना या अपनी मुसीबत में किसी और का साथ मिलना हमें तृप्ति का भाव देता है, जो कि शारीरिक और मानसिक। दूसरा हम भिक्षा के बारे में बात करेंगे, जो है चैरिटी। इसका मतलब है प्रस्ताव देना, चाहे वो भावनात्मक समर्थन हो, किसी संस्था के लिए अपना समय निकालना हो, या आर्थिक सहायता करना हो। ये सब सकारात्मक प्रभाव डालते हैं हमारी मानसिक और हमारे शारीरिक स्वास्थ्य पर। नहीं मिलती है, बल्कि हमारा आत्मविश्वास भी बढ़ता है। इसके बाद हम सामुदायिक सेवा के बारे में बात करेंगे। ये है सामाजिक सेवा, जो कि लोगों द्वारा की जाती है, ताकि जरूरतमंद लोगों की हम सहायता कर सकें। हमने अभी तक जितने भी कारकों के बारे में बात किया है, वो व्यक्तिगत रूप तक है, परंतु अगर हम उन कारकों का अगर हम उन कारकों के बारे में बात करते हैं, अगर हम उन कारकों की पालना करते हैं, तो उससे हमें खुद को स्वास्थ्य मिलता है। परंतु ये अब हमारा जिम्मेदारी है कि वो स्वास्थ्य हम अपने से लेकर समाज में लेकर जाएं, क्योंकि जब तक समाज स्वस्थ नहीं होगा, तब तक हम स्वास्थ्य के लिए आत्मनिर्भर नहीं हो सकते हैं। और यही हमारे इस साल की गांधी जयंती का मेन विषय है। तो मैं आज की चर्चा यहीं पे समाप्त करती हूँ। हमने अभी तक सभी कारकों जिनका हमारे जीवन ऊर्जा पर सकारात्मक प्रभाव है, उनके बारे में चर्चा किया है। कल से हम प्राकृतिक चिकित्सा के विभिन्न पायनियर्स के बारे में बात करेंगे, तो उनके बारे में जानने के लिए हमारे साथ बने रहें। धन्यवाद।
Thank you very much, Kajal. That was a wonderful talk. Again, knowing the importance and benefits of charity and community work. It's one of a great service what we adopt in our life, actually. And we are moving on to the question and answer session, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, please. Yes.
We have a first question. Participant is thanking you. Thank you for your informative talk. Kindly educate us. How was Gandhiji's relationship with the African natives in context of their healthcare and lifestyle?
Mahatma Gandhi had a deep interest in health. So I'm sure most of you are aware that he trained himself as nurse, and he also ran the ambulance corps, as he was given the title of sergeant like that. And this he got interested in the ambulance corps, running the ambulance corps, mainly because during the Zulu rebellion, he found that there was nobody to teach the Zulus. But, in fact, much of his work with the Zulus during the Zulu rebellion, his way of treating them, very closely interacting with them, seeing them from near quarters, and actually he would be doing bandaging, he'll be doing all kinds of care for them. That's what he learns many things. Much of his Satyagraha campaign is the thinking that he has done while he's working with the Zulus, providing them health care. I don't know if that was the question, but Mahatma Gandhi's relationship with the Zulu, I don't think he has much of relationship in day-to-day life, but in case of plague and case of disease, he works with them very intensely, and perhaps he's not doing naturopathy at that time, he's doing regular nursing. And Mahatma Gandhi is very proud of being a nurse to anybody, so, and that he is a good nurse is his.
Okay. That was wonderful, sir. Gandhiji as a nurse, treating and then learning and then adapting. Wonderful. Sir, we have next question here. Gandhiji mentioned that one who wants to conduct experiments of nature cure should start with her or himself. Kindly share your views on his statement as to whether it is medically and scientifically ethical.
No, I in fact quoted this statement during my talk that he is saying with himself. But I don't know what is the question of ethics in this. He does worry about it when he he's treating Ramdas and treating Manilal, he tries to get informed consent for treating them, as he is
Okay.
saying repeatedly. Because he is also saying that maybe the consent that I'm getting, these are children, they trust on me, and so their contest, their consent is for the trust that they have in me, and not that the therapy I'm going to practice on them. He's conscious of these issues,
Okay.
of this ethical issue, and that's what he's saying. That why he's saying that first practice on yourself, then be confident enough to practice on others. But obviously, this issue is coming to him also, and he's from a child of 8 trying to get an informed consent, knowing that the consent is for the child has trust in him, so he's consenting. But that he's not unaware of the
Okay.
of ethics in this. But is also caution, is also humility.
Okay. Fine, sir. There's one more question. Do you agree that Gandhiji wanted to be a doctor and he used to treat people with nature cure therapies?
I will not agree with that. I don't think he wanted to be doctor. He wanted to serve people where the need was there, and he did not believe in that services only through high professionals. He believed in the most of the needs of a man can be met without being entire professional in one field or the other. So it's not that he wanted to be a doctor. It's that ordinary needs of health and disease, everybody can help, and where he thought he can do better, he wanted to help. He wanted to serve, he wanted to become a nurse. But it is not that he wanted to become a doctor and he did it. He wanted to serve people. So he did various things. He ran a plague hospital, and treating, nursing people in sickness is one of the major ways of service. He did it in his way.
Okay. So he wanted to do a service and not to be a doctor, and empower people about health and make them self-reliant was the main gist.
That's right.
Yes. Thank you. So I hope I'm not taking too much of your time, sir. There is one more question.
Okay, please.
Yeah. So is it true that people used to approach him for dietary advices, rather use it as excuse to meet him? So I hope you got my question.
That must be true. That must be true. I don't know. It must be. But he could give good dietary advice. He had meditated on the question of food throughout his life. So whatever he said about food will be significant. People may be wanting to come to him otherwise, but if they sought dietary advice, they would get good advice. The advice would be coming from somebody who has meditated on that issue, who has practiced that issue. I don't think you get a better teacher on that. About how to make a roti, you can get a better teacher. And what are the advantages of eating roti of one kind or the other? I don't think you will get a better. And must have cooked the Kunis loaf very well. He was very proud of it.
Okay. That was nice, sir. That was a very satisfying answer what we had got. So Gandhiji's views on health and diseases, I'm completely very much amazed about what Gandhiji had in his mind and attitude of him in viewing a disease and health. So health for all and self-reliance was the main motto of his to empower peoples with. Yes. So
you summarize well, Dr. Great. So.
Okay. So apart from this, sir, any spiritual, if you can speak something about spiritual health, what Gandhiji's attitudes was on, like if I can tell you the bhajans, what he has sung, and it was sung with people him around. So what was that thing?
No, I have not thought much about it, but Mahatma Gandhi, for him, Ram Naam was the Ram Ban Aushadhi for all diseases. That and there's, I think, a small booklet on Ramanama as the Ashti by Navjivan. So, but that whether it is spirituality, that the question is that he thought strongly that without faith, without faith in something, being the man is too alone to be able to either treat himself or do anything good to anybody. And on this is very clear that without a spiritual anchor, whether you want to spiritual anchor or a anchorage in your civilization, you are unlikely to be able to lead a healthy life. That I think is throughout his. In fact, there's a, if you have a little time, he had a correspondence with Tolstoy, which is extremely important. Tolstoy written a letter to a Hindu, on which Mahatma Gandhi had held. Mahatma Gandhi translated it and also published it widely. But some correspondence with Tolstoy on that. And Tolstoy is unhappy that Mahatma Gandhi is a religious person. In fact, he tells some people he is a very good person, but except for his Hindu patriotism, that's the term he uses. And Mahatma Gandhi says that what makes me is my country and my Hinduism. That's what he answers to that. But he's writing to Tolstoy that you are objecting to this kind of issues, but I can tell you that I'm taking so many satyagrahis, they're going to jail in a foreign land and suffering immensely there. They're able to undergo all this suffering because they're anchored in some faith. And if that anchor is taken away from them, man cannot undergo that much suffering. Man also cannot maintain health unless there is some anchorage in you can call it spirituality, you can call it faith, you can call it belief in Nama as he would prefer. But that is there all in his life. That is.
So Gandhiji kept his body as physical body as a temple. So he worshipped it. He feeded good food. He gave good air to breathe, and he gave good sunbath to nourish him very well. So other levels would be actually in balance.
Yes, you're right.
Yes. I hope we don't have much questions, and we'll be ending our sessions now, sir. And on behalf of NIN and ROB, Regional Outreach Bureau of Maharashtra and Goa, wholeheartedly, I thank you for spending your time, for giving us knowledge on Gandhiji's views on and attitudes on health and diseases, sir. So once again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming over here. I hope these technical things are very much new to your generations, but you made your time and you came to us and you gave a good session. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for it.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen. Thank you, viewers. And I hope all of you enjoyed and have learned something from it. Shall I leave?
Yes, we have come to the end of the session today, and I thank all the viewers who have viewed this online webathon, Gandhiji's views on health and disease and his attitudes and his experiences which he encountered in South Africa and in England, and how he treated his own family and empowered others upon naturopathy laws, naturopathy principles, and considering food as medicine, and mainly giving us a motto of being self-reliant on our health. So by this, I'll be ending the session. So tomorrow we have a session on self-reliance through naturopathy by Dr. BTC Chidananda Murthy, sir, which will be moderated by Dr. Yuvraj Paul, Senior Medical Officer of NIN. So I request all the viewers to stay tuned with NIN Facebook website so that we can deliver a good session tomorrow and stay connected. Thank you very much.